Hello, hello. In this video, we're going to change the commentary style just a little bit. I'm pugging a key, but I want to talk more in depth about how I play Resto Shaman. What my mindset is going into each key and stuff like that. So, we're going to see what we're doing here first. So we're pulling the Spike Claws. So this immediately tells me that when we're doing this big pull here, I'm going to want to press a lot of things here to stay alive. So I'm going to pretty much almost immediately use my defensive. I'm going to help do a little bit of damage while I can. We're going to cast a Chain Harvest. Going to put down a Cloudburst Totem. That should have got put down like at the very start of the pull, because now it would be popping for some good healing. But it's just all about being very proactive is what I'm trying to get at. And I might be talking really faster, but I'll try to break stuff down like as things kind of mellow out in a pull. So like there we killed it all very smoothly, and that pull was extremely clean, and like we almost took no damage whatsoever because everyone did a really good job about like pressing defensives and stuff. And like the warrior rallying cried and stuff, and the hunter feigned death to drop aggro on some stuff. Like that was all very, very clean. So that's about as good as it could have gone. But it's just about being proactive, and like when you go into a big pull like that, don't be afraid to just drop SLT, drop Ascendance, drop things that will help you make it through. I think I'm just gonna have to here it looks like. Here's what we're doing. But it's better to use up your cooldowns and then not have them for a pull that you need them for, like later on, rather than not using them and then dying still on that pull, because you don't really learn anything that way, because all that teaches you when you die to a pull and you didn't press, SLT, that just teaches you that you need to press SLT next time that you do that pull. But if you press SLT that pull and then you survive and rezzing, and you survive, and then you go into the next pull and you don't survive with SLT, then that actually teaches you something, because it's like, okay, well, did I need SLT for that last pull? You can kind of like determine it, or what cooldowns did I use? And now what cooldown can I instead move to that next pull next time I do it in a, in a future dungeon or something like that. And it's a lot of like logic that has to be behind it, I guess. It's all about the mindset of things and just how you approach it, rather than like I can't just tell you the secret codes for where you need to use your cooldowns in Mist of Tierna Scythe, because it just doesn't work like that. Because it's very subjective based on the group you're in, the players you're playing with, the key level you're in. Like there's just so many things that you have to think for yourself on it. So that's why it's important understanding that like the best advice I can give from my point of view is don't be afraid to press cooldowns and make mistakes, because making mistakes is learning. Making mistakes that that aren't teaching you anything, those aren't going to help. You want to be making mistakes that are actually teaching you something every time you make them, because then you can help figure out how to prevent those mistakes in the future. So, no, that got really philosophical and deep, but hopefully that actually makes sense, because that's my approach to things, at least when I do keys and stuff. And here I want to focus mostly on damage on these mobs. So I'm just dropping Healing Tide Totem because it doesn't really do too much healing. It'll help a little bit with this initial thrash, and it'll just help stabilize the group while I focus on doing damage. And then here I'm going to drop a Cloudburst Totem because it'll be up for this one. And we'll just Ascendance here too, so that I have to do less healing. Because now I can just throw a couple heals, and now that Cloudburst, when it finishes off and pops here, it's going to heal like everybody up pretty healthy. So now I can go back to doing exactly what I want to do, which damage. And then for this boss, the general guideline is to do as much damage as you possibly can to the tree, which is Droman Alpharon. And then once the actual boss himself casts is called Embrace Darkness, that is when you want to switch into more of like a healing mode, and understanding that the group is in danger now, and you need to make sure that you're keeping them alive. especially if these spirit bolts are going off. I always try to keep in mind who the spirit bolts are targeting. So like that one's going to hit the hunter, this one's going to hit the druid, and it's going to hit him because no one interrupted it. You want to keep those players topped off when you see that. Drop a tremor here. I don't think it's going to reach anybody, unfortunately. Kind of stood in a bad position. We also killed Woe, which is very awkward. And now that the tree is getting burned and we're going to... Oh, that was not a Teldrassil joke, I promise. Now that we're going into the burn phase here against the boss, I can switch back into a damage mode. I'm going to pop my Earth Ellie, and I'm just going to be doing as much damage as possible. I literally do not care that people aren't full HP, because they will be totally fine. And here we can still keep focusing damage. We go back to the tree, though. I can interrupt the boss next. And also when these puddles spawn right here, you can actually bait them on top of each other. So like right there, I just baited 2 puddles directly on top of one another, if you saw that. I'll try to show it again when I do it. But you can actually stand still until like the last second that the first puddle is going to hit you. And then the second puddle will spawn under you. So we'll do it again here. I'll show you guys. So there it is. And then we move. And you see they kind of spawned like really close to each other. I moved a little bit too soon, but you get the idea. And like the more you can do that, the more room and space that you're going to have in this, and you'll have a lot less of these like spread puddles all over the place. Obviously the boss spawns random puddles too, so some of it's out of your control, but it still helps a lot with just controlling space and not panicking. But obviously you don't want to do it if you're getting hit by the first puddle, because if you mistime it and get hit by the first puddle, you can just die instantly, and that feels really bad, obviously. Here we can just stay on the boss, so I don't need to worry about the tree damage anymore. We're just going to do single target damage, but I'm still going to flame shock the tree just so I get procs. Lava Surge. And same thing with this like mindset thing that we're trying to talk about is like right now, there's no damage going on whatsoever. Like I could drop a Cloudburst there. I dropped a Cloudburst because I'm going to move. Sure, it'll help a little bit, but is there really any damage happening? No. Besides the Spirit Bolts going out, there is no one taking damage. So my main priority should be to do damage. Even there, I chose to Lava Burst instead of heal up the Warrior, because the Warrior isn't actually in any danger. He just got hit by the frontal. But what else is he possibly going to get hit by that's going to kill him? Like, maybe he gets hit by a Swirly. Maybe the boss starts casting a Spirit Bolt on him, but if that happens, that's when I would heal him. Is like if I think that's going to happen, or if I see a Spirit Bolt casting on him. Actually pull through the wall here for the hunter so that he doesn't have to summon a pet. If I can get it. There we go, got it. You can only do that through the wall still if you are a goblin. Fun fact. You just stand, I'll show you guys the spot. You stand like right, where is it? Like right here on this little, on the X marker, like right here where I'm standing, where this fork is in this branch. This branch like splits off into 2 branches right here. Here, I'll zoom in because I'm making it really bad. Right there, the like forks. You stand right here in between the fork, and then you just target the defender that's in the back, and you kind of just wiggle around, and there's like a sweet spot, and then you hit him. That is it. You pull through the wall. You can do it with any class as long as you're a goblin and have a spell that's like a 35-yard range or something. I don't know exactly what the range is. I just usually use Frost Shock or Flame Shock. Alright, we're going to solve the puzzle here. So that's a full flower with a circle. Another full, so we're looking for an empty without a circle. Not that one. That means it's red. I'm not going to explain the maze like I always do in all my mist videos, so if you'd like an explanation on how to solve the maze really effectively as a healer, just check up the like Mist of Tierna Scythe, like how to heal Mist of Tierna Scythe video that I made pretty recently. And that will go over it pretty in depth of like how I solve the maze or what method I use. It was explained to me by Yummy TV, so if you know how he does it, then you also know how I do it. All right, what do we got? We got empty flower with us. Okay. Full leaf. And so here, with this whole mindset explanation thing, so when we go into these rooms, my mindset is just following a list of priorities. The first priority, solve the maze. The second priority, do damage. The third priority is heal anybody who makes mistakes or takes damage from things like the stalker bites if they're not getting interrupted, which in this group none of them are. So we just need to be aware of that stuff. But even here, like, the druid's in no danger. He just got bit, but this bleed is not going to kill him, and the stalker just died, so like there's nothing that can happen that just kills him. It's just not going to happen. So I can instead focus my attention towards doing damage. So there it is, we solved the maze, now we're doing damage, and then we're just cleaning up any mistakes that happen. Summon my Earth Ellie here. Need to fix my macro when I summon Earth Ellie to like auto focus it, because I need to be able to like heal it more effectively. Having it die when it has Earthquake attached to it feels very bad. Gonna Chain Harvest here. It's not super effective, but get some damage out. Purge that quickly before we kill that. Alright, so again, first priority, solve the maze. Empty flower. Leaf. I believe this one only has one solution, right? Yeah, it's always this one. I don't need to solve it, actually. And then second priority, start doing damage. And once you get comfortable enough with solving the maze, you can definitely, like, when I walk in the room and I check the first one, I'll, like, flame shock one of the mobs or something just to, like, get my damage, like, going. And then if I get Lava Surge procs, I can kind of use them as I'm running around the room. But, again, the first priority is solving the maze, so if it is too difficult or distracting to do damage at the same time that you're solving the maze, do not do it. Just solve the maze. That is the priority. That will save us the most amount of time in the dungeon. And that's our goal as a healer, is to cut down on the timer as much as we possibly can in the role that we are given. Empty leaf bowl. Looks like they're saying it's the boss. It is not. It is this one. Oh, okay, it did correct it. Let that go off. Do I B-res here? I guess so, yeah. No, they always release right as I'm about to finish the cast. I'm gonna focus the tender here, so that if it casts another heal, I can just make sure I interrupt it, since we didn't get the last one. Stun here. Heal should be going off here shortly, so we will interrupt it. There it is. Spell that. And see how the priority shifts? So like right now, focus is doing damage. Now the priority, dispel this guy and get him topped up in case he gets healed or hit by anything. Next priority, do damage again. Warrior's fine. I have a Riptide on him, so he is getting healed over time. There we go. Now we can give him like a nice heal. He did get hit by another mechanic. We're just keeping everybody in a range of HP that is going to keep them alive. That's all that really matters. We don't need to top everybody off every single time that they take damage, because that is typically a big waste, especially when we have stuff like Cloudburst Totem available to us, where we can do so much like passive free healing. Like right now I can just have a Cloudburst Totem down, throw a couple Riptides out, and not heal this bleed that's on this guy. Because my Riptide's doing it for me, and this Cloudburst when it pops is going to heal him. Same thing with like the tank right there. The tank was like half HP, and I was casting a Lava Burst. And it's just because I have Cloudburst down, and it's going to do all that work for me. So I don't need to focus my attention on it. Same thing here with this bite. Just cast a couple Riptides, keep the Cloudburst nice and healthy. I can drop a Healing Tide here just to help out a little bit, since we are having like multiple people take damage. And that way I can do damage myself. Because it's either I save Riptide, or I save Healing Tide and I don't use it and I use regular healing spells to pick everybody up, or I can just drop my 3-minute cooldown that I definitely don't need for this boss. Like, right, I'm not going to need to press Healing Tide right now, or within the next 3 minutes. It's not really that mandatory. So I can just drop it and keep doing damage and let the Healing Tide do all the work for me. And it's another big thing about like the mindset of playing a healer is you want to get rid of as many, you know, you want to cut as many corners as you possibly can out of your gameplay and just make it very, very streamlined of like what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, which is doing damage and keeping everybody alive. You shouldn't make it more complicated than that. Keeping everybody alive is not the same thing as keeping everybody at full HP. Those are two different things. But it's something that you just learn over time, so if you don't feel comfortable leaving someone at 50% HP, then you probably shouldn't leave them at 50% HP. It's all just, that's why I mentioned like it's very subjective and based on the situation. So if you feel like uncomfortable when someone's at, you know, like this Druid right here, I feel extremely uncomfortable that he is that low HP, and I was late on the SLT, or otherwise he would have survived. But it's like my priority shifts as soon as I don't feel comfortable about the damage intake that's happening to players. So here, I feel totally comfortable with the Hunter and the Warrior being at low HP. Hunter, just in case he gets hit by one of those dodgeballs, I throw a Riptide on him. That way he'll be fine if he gets hit by the dodgeball. Before the Riptide, probably not fine. After the Riptide, totally fine. Same thing here. This Warrior's probably was about to get hit by that dodgeball. I couldn't really tell, so I threw a heal on him just to top him off in case it hit him. Now we're feeling comfortable again. So I'm doing damage. I'll throw down a healing rain just to get ready for this intermission. And I have a Cloudburst rolling. I'm going to keep throwing Riptides out because I want this Cloudburst to be very nice. And on over this way. Gotta watch the dodgeballs here. I was not comfortable. I thought I was going to get hit by that because the gap was very, very close together. So I just pressed the defensive on myself. Not hesitating. I'm just making decisions quickly. And now we're back to it. We're in a phase where no one's going to really be taking immediate damage from anything, unless they accidentally make a mistake on getting hit by dodgeballs or something, so we are just doing damage. Everybody's healthy enough that nothing's going to really kill them right now. Freeze tag's coming out. I will CC this one. Gonna wait a little bit on this Cloudburst because I don't really need one right now, but I want it for the intermission. But I want it to carry over a little bit better in the intermission this time. Just doing damage. Now I can drop my Cloudburst and get it ready for the intermission, so we'll throw out some Riptides. Down a Healing Rain. Oh, we skipped the intermission. Sweet. Now I can just switch my priority back to doing damage. Now I don't need to worry about this Cloudburst. It's going to do its own thing. Fine. There we go. I also understand that I'm like repeating myself a lot, but that's how you get good at this stuff, is like you just need to just either like talk it out loud. Like one thing when I was learning how to play Disc Priest, for instance, I like would say my rotation out loud. If you watch like some of the log reviews and stuff, like I'll literally count, or I'll, you know, sometimes it's just everybody learns in different ways, I guess. So all I'm trying to say is that the repetition is what helps you get in the right mindset and build the right habits for this kind of stuff. And here, I'm not too worried about anybody. The Druid, yeah, he's taking a little bit of damage, so I'll drop a Cloudburst. I'll throw a heal on him. Now we're doing damage again. Tank taking a little bit of damage, so we'll throw a Riptide on him, but I'm still prioritizing these Lava Bursts and Lava Surge charges. Just using them all up. I'm Chain Lightning to refresh another Riptide on the Druid. But I'm not sitting here, oh my gosh, he has a debuff, oh my gosh, the Hunter has a debuff, I need to heal them. Because as soon as that dies, we're all full HP anyways. So I just need to keep people alive long enough to kill and then everything else will do its own job. And I'm going to catch up to the group, drop a Earth Shield and a Riptide, get the Hunter healed up real quick, and now we are going right into damage. I throw a stun out, because it helps a lot with this initial pack to avoid all the green shit on the floor while people are pressing cooldowns. Here I throw out a Cloudburst because there's going to be those random poisons put on people here soon, so I just want to make sure that I have a good Cloudburst going into it. Could have interrupted that a lot sooner, but that's alright. You throw down Healing Tide, and you can still see if you're watching my cast that I'm using, which you can see over here by details, most of them are Lava Burst and Chain Lightning. I'm still pressing Lava Burst and Chain Lightning more than I'm pressing healing spells. Because I'm putting trust into my class. Like, I'm putting trust into the Cloudburst Totem, I'm putting trust into the players that I'm playing with, even though I don't know who they are or how good they are at the game. That's fine. Even if they make mistakes, that's okay. It's just up to us to, like, make sure that they can make those mistakes without just, like, insta-dying. Unless it's something where that just happens no matter what, then obviously that's out of our control. Let's see, like, going into this, I don't have a Poison Dispel, but we have two classes that do. So I would like people to interrupt, but my expectation going into this pull is I'm just going to assume that they're not going to be dispelling the poisons, so I need to just be ready to heal through poisons. Like, if someone gets 2 stacks of the poison, I need to be ready to heal them. So I'm keeping everybody at a decent level of HP so that I can do that without having to, like, panic over it when it happens. I'm, like, prepared for it to happen rather than it happening and then me going, oh man, that person didn't dispel. Like, see, that one was out of our control. Me keeping him full health or something when he got hit by that wouldn't have made a difference. Me healing him while he's midair flying off the edge of the map, I can't do anything about that, so that's okay. We just keep going. We don't have him here now for this pull, so I need to help contribute a little bit more damage. Warrior's a little low HP, so I did want to pick him up really quick, just in case he gets hit by one of these, like, swirlies or something. Now we have the herb buff, so we should be totally fine. Be a little over percentage on this one. The tank does not have Incarn yet, but it is pretty close, so I'm just going to Healthy. Oh, it looks like it is. Must have some kind of CDR or something on it. Chain Harvest. Should have Cloudburst before that Chain Harvest, because Chain Harvest does affect Cloudburst, so it's always a really nice thing. We pop defensive here. There, I just give myself 1 heal, and now I'm back to doing damage. We heal up the warrior here. Definitely not looking too good in terms of health. But here, I think he's okay, so we're doing damage. Take him back up a little bit past half HP. And now there's only these 2 mobs left, and all they do is just put the debuffs on people, so we just Riptide whoever they put them on, and then we're just killing them and doing damage. Not worrying about topping everybody off. And then now I'm going to get to the boss first, and then worrying about healing people up. Because we can use food to heal up. See if they pull before I get a food buff. Go. Buff acquired. Didn't even mean to Flame Shock her. I meant to Flame Shock the boss, but oh well. And now my priority here is to watch the Mind Links. And when I get targeted by Mind Link, I want to barely have to move. So that's why you see me standing way over here by nobody else in the party. And like now the tanks moved kind of by me, so I'm going to work my way back towards the outside of the room. Because then when I get this Mind Link, look how far I have to go. I barely have to move and I'm still in range of the boss. And I'm already like, the Mind Link is already done and no one took, like we barely took any damage from it. So I want to make that mechanic as easy as possible. So see here I have another Mind Link. I literally just step away. The Mind Link doesn't touch a single person. We take no damage from it. So So I'm just like preemptively thinking of I'm going to get targeted by Mind Link, so I'm going to be ready to deal with it rather than standing here with the rest of the DPS players and getting targeted. Oh man, I had to sneeze. Okay, we're back. The same thing here. We're just watching this Druid because he's kind of close to us, but that's okay. Baiting the puddles, standing not too far away. And now we're going to get ready for that Mind Link again, so I'm going to pop my move thing while casting, my Spear Walker's Grace. Just heal up the players in melee a little bit. Stun these ads. Chain Harvest here. Oh, we didn't get it. I think I stepped out of range just a little bit. And like here you might be worried because it's like, oh, the Hunter's outranging us, the Druid's outranging us. Like, how are we supposed to heal them if something happens? And really it's just as simple as like finding downtime to kind of move your way towards them. And you want to be in range of everybody, but just enough to where you're in range of everybody and no more than that. Like here, as we start moving in towards the middle, like everybody moved this way towards me, so I just moved back this way. And now everyone's kind of moving out this way, so I'll step a little bit this way. And you're just keeping like this constant max range distance to every other player on this fight. Should be your goal as a healer. Or not necessarily as a healer, but as a ranged. Cause see that Mind Link death just happened because they couldn't get away from each other and they were both stuck in a corner. That was pretty much out of our control. We might have been, if we were over there, we might have been able to kind of like heal them through it. But that's one of those situations where it's just like, that's why we're staying spread out. And like here, we're going to help get away from the warrior so that he doesn't have to run as far. Pop Ascendance here, pick up the warrior. Cover the group so that people's morale is back. Step away. Getting ready for that Mind Link. It's on the Druid, so we just make sure we stay away from him. There we go. It didn't touch us. Now we can step back in because we don't have Mind Link for a little bit. I can focus on going in here and healing people and getting these damn bugs off me. Might be in a little bit of trouble here. I pressed defensive. There's the Mind Link, so we just step away from it. He's way out in the distance, so very good. Chain Harvest. That is easy boss. Cool. So, hopefully, I mean, I know this was just like a 15 and stuff. I'm going to start doing higher level M+ commentaries now that double legendaries are out tomorrow. And I'm going to start like trying to push a little bit harder in the game since I've mostly just been kind of like farming gear and farming vault stuff. But yeah, we're going to start the push here soon. And I will make sure to record those and do commentary over them and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what you thought of it, or if you'd like me to cover specific topics in these commentaries and stuff. And yeah, have a good one.